Hey everybody, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Today, I'm not going to make one of my regular ones. I'm going to make a commenter on the comment section asked me to make the blueprint. So, here's where it is. It's under Tier 4. So you're going to need a few things to get there. You are absolutely going to need regular steel, basic steel production, because you're going to need steel beams to get to your Tier 4 and then get blueprints. That's about as fast as you can get there. From there, and yes, I got my coffee cup. Now, with the blueprint maker, I would suggest having a decent sized place because it is rather large. It's pretty easy to make steel beams, you know, concrete, some wire, some frames. It's not a big deal making it. I myself, when I make it, I put up pillars with power on it. Later on, when you get the hover wings, you're going to need power. And you're going to need it fairly close to you to be able to get up and do the top of your tall blueprints if you have any tall ones. I find that I build more vertically with this because I don't have a big, huge horizontal, like basically an X and a Y area to build, so I end up going Z, all right? Well, anyways, so once you build the Blueprint Designer, you will get this tab up here, okay? In that tab, you will have one category and one subcategory. Now, I leave these alone, the undefined. I leave that there. I go down to edit, and I add a new category. Now, I've never been happy with factory, but I was just going to rename it. But for this, let's add a new category. And for that, I'm going to go to the gear. And then I'm going to name it. Let's name it production, because that's actually what, if I can type. Fingers not working. Production. And I'm going to select the same icon. I like the icon. I like the icon. Select icon. Apply. Now I have a category. Now I need subcategories. And I'm personally going to choose 4 subcategories. They are going to be smelting. They are come here. Constructors. And foundries. Foundries? Foundries? And... Oh, yes. Assemblers. Okay. I should probably use apostrophes. But anyways, now I got 4 categories. Now that, to me, is just under production. That works. There are others, but today we're just going to use those. Okay, so now I got my categories. Now, build a blueprint. Or build something. Okay. For me, I'm going to, and I wish there was a keyboard to get straight to blueprints, by the way, but there isn't. So I'm going to build a smelter setup, just cause. So I got my smelter set up. I have them under a generic setup, but I'm going to build an iron one. I'm going to copy those settings. Then I'm going to paste those settings, Control V to paste. So now I have an iron ore smelting set up. I don't do power. I connect it afterwards, so there's no point in me doing it in the blueprint. This is a very, very basic splitter, 3 out, into 3 smelters, back into a merger. Pretty simple. If you watched any of the rest of my series, you'll notice that I do everything, look at the top row, in sets of 9. Which is why sets of 3 in the Blueprint Maker work out just fine. I wish it was wider and, you know, all they're bigger. There are mods. I caution you, the biggest of the blueprint size mods will do a standard 12 and 12 coal generation power plant with all the water setups and everything. Almost bogged my computer down to the point of shutting it down. Yeah, I would be cautioned on using the bigger, but there is bigger ones. There's also mods that allow you to get this blueprint maker earlier in the game, like basically right off the bat. So it's just some mods. I don't have any of them running in this playthrough, but anyways. So you have your blueprint. It's all set. So you come over to your designer, and we now want to name it. So 3 times iron smelting. Okay. The description. I personally don't use them too much other than just to rename what it is. Now, the reason why you set up the category and the subcategory, and that's what these two are, is that if you didn't, you wouldn't be able to choose it in this. So let's go there now. We go to production and we go to add blueprint because this is a smelter. Add blueprint there. Now, you would think you can press escape, right, to get out of this and go back. But no, because if you do, you're going to be unsaved changes made to the information. Blah, 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 blah. If you choose the blueprint, everything will be discarded. So be careful. What you want to do is you want to go up to the X and press the X. Now you're back to where you were. Now you want to pick an icon. I'm going to go parts and I'm going to go iron ingots and then I'm going to select a color. Now, colors. You can load presets which come with Satisfactory, and that'll be the Satisfactory colors. You know what I mean? Your basic 4. I have never pressed. I don't know whether you can save presets into there. I have never messed with that, other than I have messed with it in the modification designer end of things, but I've never played with it here. Otherwise, you can choose slider bars or by the numbers, or you can go to a web page and get the hex codes for the colors, such as 4 zeros and 2 Fs is blue. Okay, so I'm going to choose blue. I am going to save that blueprint. Blueprint is saved. Now I can press escape. And then I go back to the queue screen. Yes, I wish there was a straight to your blueprints. And I'm going to go to production. There I am. Now, I might as well show this to you. If you ever, oops, I put it under the wrong directory. No problem. So you go to the directory that was wrong. You press edit. You left click and drag. I'm holding the left button because if I let go of the left button, it'll drop it wherever you move it. So I'm holding the left key. I go over to production and I drop it there. But I don't want it in that order because I want my generics first. So you can either grab this, put it on the outside. You know what I mean? Switch them around, flip them around, do what you want. So as you make mistakes, right, you can change things and put them into different directories and you're all set. Now that one's empty. Oh, I don't need the directory no more. Okay, you can remove subcategories by clicking the remove subcategory or remove the entire category itself. Now I have it named what I want to. I'm now going to go, I'm not going to do this here because there's no point. Actually, you know what? I'll do one more. And okay, sorry, cancel. Apply changes. Escape. Now you have this blueprint sitting here, but you want to redo it. You want to make something totally different. You could go through and do the individual stuff. Okay. It's time consuming, isn't it? So clear designer. Now, as I did that, you'll notice that it said resources sent to here. You'll notice that little pop-up came up as I pressed the clear, the blueprint designer. So now I have a clear blueprint. So once again, go about making your blueprint. Now I'm going to make the same one. You make something different. Make whatever you want. Okay, but now it's going to be copper for me anyways. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to go set pace. Okay, and did I do it right? Yes, I did. Okay, hook up your power, do your thing. Come back in here. New blueprint. So for me, I know I did the same one. Copper, smelting, and then the description. It could be different than the name. I mean, these are pretty simple, right? You can get very intricate as to what you're doing. Add it there. Remember, you can't press escape. You have to go to the X. That's your directory set. Now I'm going to go parts, and I'm going to do copper. Then I'm going to go to the color. I use hex codes just because I've memorized a couple of them. FF, red and blue for right now, and save blueprint. Go to the and now it's here. Okay, so my generic setup, and then I got ore and I got copper, and now I can go through constructors, and I can go whatever, right? Make screws, make this, make that. The steel foundry I did actually set up as a steel foundry because the only other thing that uses a foundry other than alternate recipes would be the aluminum, and when I set that up, I definitely set it up differently than I would steel. And then the assemblers, and then you're going to have a whole bunch of different assembler recipes. Now, this guide was not about how you should make your, and like I said, that's boring to do. It takes too much time. So come in here, clear. They've been sent to the designer storage. Designer storage gets more and more in it. So the only other thing to show you about blueprints, I'm not going to make a bunch of blueprints. You do you. Have fun. I mean, watch everybody under the sun for how things are made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to mess with blueprints in the world, though. Let's use the steel foundry setup because it's a little bigger. Okay, So down at the bottom, you'll see a whole bunch of commands, meaning build, left mouse button, rotate hologram, snap the guideline, all the way across. Okay, build would be very simple. If I push the left mouse button, I would build right here and now. I'm not going to. Rotate hologram. So this is your mouse wheel on top of your mouse. Oop, oop, oop. Okay, rotate hologram. Just rotates it the 4 different directions. And pretty simple stuff, right? The snap to guidelines. Now, I can't get it to snap to actual guidelines here. I don't know how to show this to you. I'll be honest right here. I don't know how to show this to you. I should have probably looked this up before I decided to make this, but snapping to guidelines, I mean, I'm sitting here tapping my control key and it ain't doing nothing. So don't ask me. The next one is to lock it. If you lock the hologram, the commands down below change. But now you can use the nudge button, and you can nudge your blueprint one space this way or that way in case you want to nudge it into place. And then from here, I was on steel. So the other commands would be sample building and build mode. Okay. Blueprint default. I personally don't see a difference between this in this where I'm at. Commonly, build mode would change the way you build something, say with a belt, with water lines or pipes, not just water lines, but pipes in general. So that's your toggling your different build mode. Now, blueprint mode and default mode, don't see a difference between them. Okay, now sample building, middle mouse button. Okay, well, my middle mouse button is set to whatever I'm toggled over, that's what it'll turn into. So I don't foresee this doing anything, because even if I go off to the side and I go somewhere else, let's just say, and I'm pushing my middle mouse button and I don't see anything happening here. Okay, so that's just something that I don't know what to tell you there. But now, quick switch. Okay, the reason why you want to put, to me anyways, okay, the reason why you want to put things into subcategories and not mix, say, smelting with foundries, would be because of this E button. You can switch between iron smelting, copper smelting, regular smelter. So anything in a subcategory. Now, it might not be useful here, but here's an idea for you. You're doing architecture on the outside of a building and you have, say, 4 presets to make your building look really, really cool, right? Well, you can switch between those without having to escape out, or right mouse button, go back to your build menu, go back through the blueprint category and go back into picking something that you can just switch between your 3 different. Now, like I said, I mean, I don't see it on smelting. What I do see it on is when I start to put architecture on the outside of a building. I got a whole bunch of stuff all set up with like a street light at a certain like red, and then I got a bunch of foundations built all around it and I'm making it look really cool, and then I got some glass and some other stuff, and you can do that. But then of course, because of the limitations of the blueprint size, you can't get it all, so you can now switch between. Okay, that's about it. I mean, other than T button to hide it all because you know your commands, closing or escaping, right? Other than that, once you place a blueprint, okay, and it's down, if you want to change, you go into your destruction or the default dismantle mode. Okay, and down at the bottom, you might notice the R. Now, dismantle filter is one thing because that'll just pick constructors. So now I picked my 3 constructors, but it won't pick anything else, right? Like it won't pick the foundations, it won't pick anything else. Or if it was built by a blueprint, you can go into dismantle mode here, and you can go the entire blueprint. So you will destroy or dismantle the entire blueprint. Other than that, there's not much else to show you. That's blueprints. That's the way it goes. So thank you very much. If you like this individual video, tap that like button. If you like what I do on the channel and what I'm about and whatnot, tap that subscribe key. And I thank you very much for doing so. You're helping the channel out huge. Huge, huge, huge. And hey, leave me comments if you actually want me to describe something or do something else. in Satisfactory or any other game that I take care of and cover. Other than that, have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one.